The Forbidden's border, the stars hung quietly in the black sky, shining like tiny cold eyes. Captain Vorth of the Raxion Empire stood on the bridge of his warship, Raxion's Claw, staring at the empty space ahead. His face was sharp, his scales a dark blue, and his eyes full of pride. "We have crossed into human space," the ship's navigator announced. A cold silence fell across the room. "Good," Vorth growled. "Let's see if these human stories are true, or just another old tale to scare weaklings." The crew laughed nervously. Everyone in the galaxy had heard the stories about ships vanishing, about entire fleets that crossed the border into human space and were never seen again. Some said the humans were monsters. Others claimed their weapons were beyond imagination. But no one knew for sure. "Captain," one of the younger officers spoke. His voice trembled a little. We already lost 2 ships, sir." Vorth's eyes narrowed. "What do you mean?" "They disappeared from the scanners," the officer replied. "No signal, no debris, no distress calls." Vorth growled low in his throat. "Foolish glitches. Our sensors can't be trusted this deep in unknown space. Keep moving." The bridge crew exchanged worried glances, but no one dared to argue. For a while, the journey seemed quiet. Too quiet. No planets, no stations, not even a single piece of space junk. It felt wrong. Space was never this empty. "I don't like this," muttered Zarn, the weapons officer. He was a battle-hardened soldier who had fought in many wars. If he was afraid, something was truly wrong. Suddenly, the communications console lit up. A single old-style message came through. "You crossed the line. Now you pay the price." The voice was calm, cold, and human. The bridge fell into total silence. "Who sent that?" Vorth barked. "No known source, Captain," the comms officer said, his hands shaking. "Trace it." I can't. It came from everywhere. And nowhere." Then, without warning, one of their escort ships vanished from the radar. No explosion. No sound. One moment it was there, and the next it was gone. The crew panicked. "What happened?" "I don't know, Captain. It's just gone." Vorth's claws scratched the metal armrest of his command chair. "Raise shields. Prepare weapons. Keep moving forward." They pushed deeper into human space, every crew member on edge. Every shadow felt like it was watching them. Then the scanners picked up a massive object ahead. "It's big." "Very big," the navigator whispered. "I can't get a clear reading. It's cloaked." "Visual," Vorth ordered. The main screen flickered, showing a dark shape moving slowly in the distance. Its surface was rough, like it was built for war. "No lights, no markings. That's no asteroid," Zarn said grimly. Another escort ship exploded without warning. The flash of light blinded the crew for a second. "Who fired?" "No weapons detected, Captain." Fear spread across the bridge. Even Vorth felt a cold hand grip his heart. Then came a second message. "You were warned." And this time, it was closer. "Open a channel. Show yourselves, cowards." Vorth roared. The answer came not in words, but in sight. Before their eyes, several giant ships uncloaked one by one. They were sleek, deadly, and far more advanced than anything the Raxion Empire had ever seen. The human ships surrounded them silently. No war cries, no insults. Just cold, quiet precision. Vorth tried to hide his fear. "Fire all weapons now." Missiles and plasma bolts shot out, but the human ships moved like shadows. Every shot missed or was absorbed by strange energy shields. Impossible. Zarn whispered, "They're toying with us." On the screen, one human ship moved in closer than the others. Its name was visible in harsh, human letters, HN's Revenant. A voice came from it. "This is Commander Elias, Reeve of the Human Defense Fleet. You crossed into human space. You shouldn't have. Vorth swallowed hard. You will leave now or be destroyed, the human voice continued. Calm, certain. Vorth clenched his fists. We don't run from anyone, he snarled. His crew looked terrified, but none dared to speak against him. Charge weapons, Vorth ordered, but before they could fire, another human ship appeared behind them. Then another, and another. Every escape route was gone. A single word flashed on their main screen. Prepare. And then the human ships began to move. A vanishing fleet, the bridge of Raxion's claw, was filled with fear. Every officer's eyes were locked. On the screen, watching as more human ships appeared like ghosts in the dark. They didn't make a sound. No flashing lights. No war drums. Just silent, cold machines of death. Captain Vorth clenched his jaw. His pride wouldn't let him show fear, but inside, a storm was growing. How many ships? He asked, his voice sharp. 17. No, 24, the navigator stammered. And still counting, Captain. Zarn, the weapons officer, spoke without turning. We're surrounded. They've boxed us in, sir. Vorth's claws scraped the armrest again. We fight. They bleed just like anyone else. But deep down, even he knew it wasn't true. The humans moved closer, forming a tight ring around the alien fleet. Their ships were different, built not for beauty, but for war. Thick armor, strange energy shields that shimmered like water, and weapons that no one in the galaxy had ever seen before. Then, in a terrifying instant, 2 more of the escort ships vanished. No weapons fired, no explosions. They simply disappeared from every scanner and screen. Captain, the comms officer cried, the Iron Fist and Stormfang are gone. Gone how? Vorth snapped. I don't know, sir. They just disappeared. The remaining crew fell silent. No one had ever seen anything like this. Not in any war, not in any story. Then another message came through. You are trespassing. Leave or face total destruction. The same calm, human voice. No anger, no shouting. It was the voice of someone completely in control. Vorth felt his pride cracking. Ready plasma cannons, he ordered. Fire at the nearest human ship. Zarn hesitated for a heartbeat. Sir, they're shields. Fire! Bright plasma bolts shot across the darkness. They struck a human dreadnought dead on, but the bolts faded harmlessly against its shield. Not even a scratch. Vorth's stomach twisted. What kind of shields are those? Zarn shook his head. Our weapons are useless, Captain. Before anyone could react, a new shape appeared behind them. It was enormous, even compared to the human dreadnoughts. This ship was a monster. Its hull was black, its design sharp and cruel, as if built by nightmares. No one had ever seen anything like it. What is that? The navigator whispered. The ship's name appeared on the scanner for a moment before the system crashed. HNS. Revenant Prime. A message followed. No one survives in human space. The alien fleet's comm channels were full of panicked voices now. This is Captain Droll of the Void Claw. We're surrounded. Request immediate retreat. This is Bladaskar. Shields are down. We're Arag. One by one, the ships were falling. Human ships fired weapons that didn't look like anything the galaxy knew. Blue beams that tore holes in space. Drones that moved faster than light, slicing ships apart before anyone could scream. Vorth watched in horror as his fleet vanished ship by ship. And then silence. No comms, no allies. Only Raxion's claw remained. Status report. Vorth shouted. Captain, we're alone. The enemy ships now numbered over 50. The Revenant Prime moved forward, dwarfing Raxion's claw like a hunter toying. With its prey, a final message arrived. Surrender, or be erased. The crew turned to Vorth, their faces pale, their hearts broken. There was no fight left in them. Vorth's pride screamed at him to die in battle, but his survival instinct whispered another plan. "Prepare jump drive," he ordered quietly. "Sir, we'll escape." Warned the Empire. Zarn swallowed hard. "If we try to run, they'll destroy us." Vorth's eyes burned. "Better than dying here." The crew scrambled to charge the jump engines. Every second felt like an hour. "Jump drive at 50%, the navigator reported. A countdown began, but the human ships didn't move. It felt too easy. Vorth's hand hovered over the command console. Then, Commander Elias Reeves' voice spoke once more. "Run if you like. We'll be waiting." And with that, Raxion's claw made the jump to hyperspace as the ship vanished. The human fleet held position. Commander Reeve turned to his crew. "Send a message to the Empire," he ordered. "Let them know this was only a warning." The Revenant Prime disappeared into the shadows in human space. No one survives, unless the humans want them to. The human commander, the dark space around the human defense fleet, returned to stillness. The stars blinked quietly, and the remains of the alien fleet floated like broken toys in the void. Not a single enemy ship remained, except one, the Raxion's claw, which had escaped. Inside the bridge of the HNS Revenant Prime, Commander Elias Reeves stood watching the empty screen. He was a tall man, dressed in a simple black uniform. No medals, no decorations. He didn't need them. His reputation carried more weight than any title. "Status report," Reeves said calmly. A young officer, Lieutenant Kara Lynn, turned from her console. "Enemy fleet destroyed, sir. One ship escaped." Reeve nodded. "Good. Let them run." His crew didn't question him. They knew their commander always had a plan. Around the bridge, the humans worked with quiet focus. No cheers. No celebrations. For them, this was duty. Every officer had seen what happened when outsiders invaded human space. The rules were simple. No one enters and survives. "Message to Fleet Command," Reeve ordered. "Invasion force eliminated. Operation Shadownet successful. One ship released to deliver warning." "Yes, sir," Kara replied. Reeve turned his eyes back to the stars. "Prepare defensive formation," he added. "They'll be back." A voice came from behind him. It was Admiral Nora Kane, head of Human Space Command, appearing on the main view screen. "Well done, Elias," she said. "As always." "Too easy, Admiral," Reeve replied. "They'll send more. Bigger, better armed." "They always do," Kane said with a dry smile. "And they always fail." Reeve nodded. "Permission to remain on patrol, ma'am." "Granted," Kane said. "Keep them out. No exceptions." The screen went dark. Reeve turned to his officers. "Get me a full sensor sweep. I want no surprises." "Yes, sir." As the crew moved into action, Reeve allowed himself a rare moment of thought. He looked at a small display on his console, a list of every alien fleet that had crossed the border in the past century. There were many names. None of them ever returned, except now one had, and that was no accident. "Kara," Reeve called. "Yes, Commander?" "Check the jump trajectory of the Raxion's claw. I want to know where they're going." "Already on it, sir." Reeve folded his arms. He knew the alien empire wouldn't give up. Pride made fools of many species, and the Raxion Empire was the worst of them. "They'll come again," he muttered to himself. "And this time, we'll show them what real war is." At that moment, deep in space, far from the border, the Raxion's claw limped through hyperspace. Its systems were damaged, its crew shaken. Captain Vorth sat alone in his chambers, staring at the wall. His pride was shattered. The screams of his dying fleet still echoed in his head. He remembered the human. Commander's voice. Calm, cold, completely certain. Run if you like. We'll be waiting. Vorth knew what he had to do. He activated the ship's long-range comms and sent a message to the Raxion High Council. We faced the humans and lost. Their strength is beyond anything in this galaxy. But I have returned with a plan. The message ended. On the Revenant Prime, Kara looked up from her console. Commander, I have their jump coordinates. They're heading for the Raxion core system. Reeve gave a cold smile. Good, he said. Let them deliver our message. He turned to his crew. Prepare the fleet. When they come back, we won't just defend our space. We'll remind the galaxy why no one invades human territory. The officers nodded. In human space, survival wasn't luck. It was permission. And no one had that permission. The final stand, Captain Vorth stood on the bridge of the Raxion's claw, his face pale, his pride crushed. The faces of his dead officers haunted him. The memory of those human ships surrounding them, silent and cold, wouldn't leave his mind. But Vorth wasn't done. Not yet. The ship finally dropped out of hyperspace inside the heart of the Raxion Empire. Dozens of alien warships surrounded them immediately, weapons armed. Vorth's tattered ship limped forward, barely holding together. Stand down. Vorth's voice crackled through the comms. This is Captain Vorth. Lower your weapons. The other ships hesitated before obeying. Vorth sent a direct message to the High Council. Prepare the fleet. The humans are coming. Inside the Raxion war chamber, high-ranking generals gathered. The room was filled with tension. Captain Vorth claims his entire fleet was destroyed. One counselor hissed. By humans. Impossible, another scoffed. Humans are primitive creatures. You didn't see what I saw, Vorth growled, his image flickering on the war screen. Their ships are invisible, their weapons unstoppable. They toyed with us like children. The room fell silent. Do you have a plan? The Emperor asked. Vorth nodded slowly. We gather. Every warship, every fighter, every soldier. We launch a full invasion of human space. This time, we overwhelm them with numbers. A murmur spread across the chamber. If they fight in shadows, we bring the light. It was madness, but pride made them blind. And so, within days, the largest invasion fleet in Raxion history gathered at the border of human space. Thousands of warships. Endless lines of fighters. Giant capital ships bristling with weapons. On board the Revenant Prime, Commander Elias Reeve stood at the front window, watching. They came, he said softly. Lieutenant Kara stepped beside him. Fleet Command has ordered us to hold position. Until they first, Reeve smiled faintly. Good, let them start it. The human ships waited in silence, scattered across the dark. No war cries, no warnings. Just endless calm. Then the Raxion fleet opened fire. Thousands of plasma bolts, missiles, and beam weapons crossed the border at once. A storm of light filled the void, and nothing happened. The human ships vanished from sight, cloaking systems activated. The alien weapons passed harmlessly through empty space. Where are they? One Raxion officer screamed. Find them. But it was too late. The human fleet struck back. Invisible ships decloaked behind the alien lines. Drones swarmed like locusts, tearing through fighters. Advanced plasma lances cut capital ships in half. Silent missiles struck before sensors could track them. One by one, the mighty Raxion ships fell. On the bridge of the Revenant Prime, Commander Reeve gave calm, quiet orders. Target their command ships first. Leave the rest to run. Within minutes, half the alien fleet was gone. On the Raxion's claw, Vorth watched in horror as his grand invasion crumbled. This isn't a battle, his first officer whispered. It's a massacre. The humans moved too fast. Their ships seemed like shadows, attacking and vanishing. Every Raxion warship destroyed was met with no sound, no mercy. And then came the final move, the human dreadnought, HNS Revenant Prime. Advanced dot, it fired a single weapon, a pulse lance, a beam of light so bright it split space itself. Entire Raxion. Capital ships disintegrated in one hit. Retreat. Vorth shouted, "Get us out of here." But escape was impossible. The human ships had already sealed every route. Back on the Revenant Prime, Reeve watched as the last enemy ships fell. "End it," he said quietly. Within moments, the Raxion fleet was gone. Only one battered ship remained, the Raxion's Claw. A message appeared on their screen. "You crossed the line. Now you understand." Captain Vorth, broken and defeated, collapsed into his chair. He had led his people into ruin. "Commander." Reeve spoke one last time. "This is human space. No one survives here." The Revenant Prime turned and left, vanishing into the shadows. Vorth's crew sat in silence, knowing their empire would never recover from this day. The return and the warning, the wreckage of the greatest Raxion fleet drifted through space, silent and forgotten. Only one ship, Raxion's Claw, had survived. Its hull was torn, its crew broken, and its captain a shadow of the proud warrior he once was. Captain Vorth sat alone in his dark chamber, staring at the emptiness of space. He could still hear the cold human voice in his mind. "This is human space. No one survives here." He had made a mistake crossing that border. A mistake his empire would never forget. The ship's systems flickered and sparked as it limped toward home. Every jump drained their power. But Vorth was determined to deliver one last warning. "Captain," his first officer spoke softly, stepping into the chamber. "We've reached the edge of Raxion territory." Vorth turned, his eyes hollow. "Send a message to the High Council. Tell them everything." The officer nodded and relayed the message through the battered comm systems. Within hours, the High Council gathered again. The Emperor, pale and silent, stared at the hollow image of Vorth's scarred face. "What happened?" one counselor demanded. Vorth's voice was low and rough. "We sent our best, our strongest. We took thousands of ships, millions of soldiers, and none of it mattered." The chamber fell silent. "They didn't fight like us," Vorth continued. "They were shadows. They struck without warning, vanished without a trace. Our weapons were useless. Our tactics meant nothing." One general spoke up. "You're saying they're unbeatable?" "No," Vorth said. "But they fight a war. No one else understands. You cannot meet them with brute strength. You cannot fight them in open space. In their space, we are prey." The council members exchanged uneasy glances. "And what of your fleet?" the Emperor asked coldly. Vorth's eyes darkened. "Gone, all of them." Gasps filled the chamber. "The humans left me alive on purpose," Vorth admitted, "to deliver a message." He recited the words aloud. "No one survives in human space." The room fell deadly quiet. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then the Emperor gave a slow, bitter nod. "Very well," he said. "We will strengthen our borders. We will leave their territory untouched." Vorth stepped closer to the screen. "It won't matter. They'll come for us now. I saw it in their commander's eyes. But we've done nothing to them." A counselor protested. "That doesn't matter to them," Vorth replied coldly. "They don't wait for threats. They erase them." Back in human space, aboard the Revenant Prime, Commander Elias Reeve watched the Raxion territory through his display. "They're afraid now," Lieutenant Kara said softly. "They should be," Reeve answered. "Fear keeps them quiet." Signal came through from Human Fleet Command. "Operation Iron Gate is approved." Advance and maintain presence near their borders. No invasions. No mercy if crossed. Reeves smiled faintly. We won't invade them, he said. We don't need to. Let them live with the fear. He turned to his crew. Deploy relay beacons across the border. Constant surveillance. No ship crosses into human space again. Yes. Sir, soon dozens of silent beacons floated at the edge of Raxion territory, watching, listening. They glowed with a pale blue light, each carrying a simple message to anyone foolish enough to cross. Enter at your own risk. The galaxy would remember this day. The day the Raxion Empire learned what true power looked like. The day they discovered that human space was not just a region of the stars. It was a death sentence, and no one would dare test it again. Humanity's final lesson, the border of human space was quiet again. The stars shone coldly in the endless dark. The debris of broken ships had long been cleared. The silent beacons floated in formation, each one carrying the same warning. Enter at your own risk. On board the HNS Revenant Prime, Commander Elias. Reeves stood in the command chamber, staring at the endless stretch of space before him. His crew worked in silence, the same calm precision they always carried after battle. Lieutenant Caroline approached him with a report. Commander, she sighed. The Raxion Empire has pulled all its fleets back. Their patrols avoid the border. No movement for 72 hours. Reeve gave a small nod. They've learned. He turned to the window, watching the distant blue glow of the surveillance beacons. No ships approached. No messages came. The galaxy had heard the warning, and for the first time in years, human space was truly silent. But Reeve knew it wouldn't last forever. Fear is a temporary shield, he said quietly. One day, someone else will come. Someone foolish. Someone who thinks we've grown soft. Kara hesitated and asked, What will we do then, sir? Reeve smiled faintly. The same thing we always do. He tapped a button on his console, bringing up a long list of past invasions. The names of alien empires, powerful warlords, mercenary fleets. Every one of them had tried to invade human space over the centuries. None of them existed anymore. We wait, Reeve said. And when the next one crosses the line, we remind them why the galaxy fears the quiet ones. Kara looked at him. Do you ever wonder why we fight this way, sir? Why we never invade, never chase them back to their worlds? Reeve's expression didn't change, because it's not about revenge. It's about the lesson. If we destroy their homes, others will rise to replace them. But if we leave them with fear, a memory they can never escape, they'll carry that lesson for generations. He gestured toward the stars. War ends. Fear never does. Kara nodded slowly, understanding at last. Back on the far side of the border, deep within the Raxion Empire, the High Council sat in silence. Every counselor, every general, even the Emperor himself, carried the same haunted look in their eyes. The memory of human space lingered like a shadow in their minds. No new fleets were built. No border patrols dared approach. Maps were redrawn. And for the first time in the Empire's long history, a vast stretch of territory was labeled with a single word: forbiddens. The people whispered about the ghosts of the human fleet, the ships that moved without sound, weapons that struck before they were seen. Mothers told stories to frighten their children. Soldiers refused orders that sent them anywhere near the border. Captain Vorth was never seen again. Some claimed he vanished into the outer systems. Others said he took his own life, unable to, live with the horror he had unleashed. And across the galaxy, other empires took notice. They rewrote their star charts. They adjusted their trade routes. And they taught their young one final rule: no one invades human space. And so, without firing another shot, humanity held its ground. Not with threats, not with endless wars, but with one hard, simple truth the galaxy would never forget. In human space, no one survives. And in the darkness beyond the stars, the human ships waited, watching the end.